All right. So I guess I should get started since I'm on a live. I'm usually cooking. I did miss my weekend cook, so I'm super sorry about that. But I decided to get on live today and we'll discuss some things as well. But I did wanted to share you guys some things. Christmas is already starting in my house and my mom made me these really wonderful pot. Isn't these beautiful? So now I'm kind of scared to cook with these because I don't want to burn them. I don't want to burn these. So I'm trying to be super nice to my mom about these, but she always does wonderful things like this, but she crocheted these and look at that, the detailing. Like it's really sturdy stuff. So no, I was super excited to receive those. But no, again, I want to apologize for my absence. I know the last time we spoke on a live, it was for National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. And we had such a wonderful time. So our next live, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what we're going to be doing with Bisquick Mix. I know I'm just doing, like I said, it's food equity. So I want to make sure that the things that I discuss are easy for everyone to do. And it's also just really fun. Like I said, food is a vibe. And this is a way for us to always connect because food is a bridge, right? It brings everybody together. So that is what we're talking about. But today, I just wanted to spend some time with why I actually am always cooking on these lives. Because I know some of you are like, why are you always cooking on these lives? And the reason is this. It's because in 2023, I entered into a cooking competition called the Favorite Chef Competition, which is hosted by Chef Carla Hall. And it is also sponsored by the James Beard Foundation. And for those of you who are not familiar with James Beard was a man with a culinary vision that he felt that people from all races, religions, and cultures should be able to have equal access to the media so that we could experience food. Without James Beard, we probably would not have Chinese food, Mexican food. Like, he was that guy. Like, he was very serious about everybody having an equal opportunity to cook and to share their love for cooking. He also was really great friends with Julia Childs. He's also Chef Ramsay loves him. Every chef loves him. So when I had the opportunity to be a part of that cooking competition, I just leaped at the challenge. Not only because it was a $25,000 prize, but also because I felt that it aligned with what I wanted to do. At the time, I had just started a food and lifestyle blog called Good Time Gal, hence the name, because I am a good time gal. I am a person who loves to party. I love to throw a great party. And I wanted to retire into something that I felt I was good at. Not something that I could be good at, but something that I was already good at and that aligned with my personal legend. So when I did the cooking competition and coincided with my food and lifestyle blog, because I finished the blog in March and then they contacted me in May and then the cooking competition began in June, right? So that's just like kismet all day long, right? I wish I could say, oh, well, there are no such thing as like coincidences and no, but the universe truly, I believe, guided me into that competition. And I really didn't know what to expect because I'm not a competitive chef. I'm just someone who enjoys cooking for, the cooking because my grandmother was a chef. My mom is a chef. Everybody in my family, it's like a trade for us. So I did the cooking competition and I came in fifth place. Yes, your girl came in fifth place. So as a thank you to the people who supported me in that competition, I wrote this cookbook. That's right. That's how this cookbook came to be. And inside this cookbook, it has all of the recipes that have made me the great chef that I am today. I know a lot of you are like, well, fifth place is not a lot, but this was out of like 250,000 people. So fifth place out of 250,000 people, hey, that's a woo! I did it. You know what I mean? So I am super proud of myself for participating in the food competition. And the reason I'm proud of myself for participating in the competition was that it showed me that I was stronger than what I believed and that I also needed to work on my confidence. And with cooking, I am a very confident person. I'm very driven. I'm very ambitious. I am very, hey, if we're going to kill a lobster, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just that girl. So it showed me that I need to be more driven in my life, and I need to be more confident in my life. And it also showed me that people will gather around for the right cause. And so this is why I did this cookbook. I also did it because there's so much history in my family when it comes to just sitting at a table and resolving our issues. I have a brother who is an atheist. I was a sex worker at one point. And we have a Trump supporter in our family. I'm going to throw that out there. Yes. So we have always been able to find common ground at our dinner table. And I know that sounds crazy, but that is very much true, is that we've always been able to find common ground at our dinner table because at the end of the day, we are all people, and sometimes a good meal can help us realize the course corrections in life. So that has been a big lesson in my life, and I have passed that down to my friends, and my parents also were from a small country town. So I would say a sundown town. And so it was very important for African Americans to have their own community. And so my mom and dad threw a lot of parties for the African American community, and they are known as some of the, best hosts and hostesses. And a lot of that rubbed off on me. I think a lot of people thought I was a party girl in the sense that I was hanging out with, like, you know what I mean. But in actuality, it was my parents. They always hosted these very wonderful parties, these elegant teas. And when you have a mom like that, she's going to make you decorate, and she's going to show you, like, this is, the difference between silver, china. This is the difference between an outdoor barbecue and indoor barbecue. This is why we use a grill. This is why we use a hibachi. So that knowledge, I was just able to save it. And then in my prior profession that I retired from, I have always been known as a person who throws a hell of a party. And I do throw a hell of a party. And I'm also a person who knows how to make a party wherever that is. So this cookbook, the competition, it just seemed to just kind of flow in line with what I had going on in my life. And so really this is a love letter to you guys, right? It's not for me because I already know these recipes. This is a love letter to you guys because that's how much joy I have felt when I have been a part of my cooking journey. And I wanted you guys to feel that joy. A lot of these dishes I did cook. And if you do look on my TikTok profile, you will see some of these dishes. This cookbook also has a home for the holidays section. So you can surely use that. We've got fresh pumpkin pie. Yeah, there's my home for the holiday section. So it's in there. And there's a whole section of just really great staples of different dishes like pumpkin pie. Then I also have a Louisiana loving menu. I have a holiday ham recipe. We have the bacon wrapped green beans, which is on my profile as well. And then I also have a section for Valentine's Day. I think I cover every holiday because holidays are important in my house, right? And I also have a really badass sangria recipe. Let's see what we see. Yep, the sangria recipe. Yeah, it's a delicious recipe. But this book is just filled with, and I tell people this is a working cookbook. So I know some of us get the cookbook and we're like, oh my God, I love the pictures and I love the dishes. But this cookbook, I think for the most part, you will say, I love the pictures, I love the dishes. But you'll also have people who be like, hey, can you make that again? I really like that. There's a really refreshing melon salad in here. There's a really wonderful strawberry banana salad with toasted almonds. I also have just a whole section dedicated to my Southern roots, which I thought was really important to share with you all. But it's just a really wonderful cookbook that was made in love. Yep, it's called Country Style Seafood section. And then there's all kinds of really wonderful recipes that that we all love, and they're easy. And I wanted, that's why I'm showing you guys the pages, So you see how many, it's not a lot of ingredients. Like these are the ingredients. And these are the ingredients, and then that's the cooking directions. And that's the majority of this cookbook. It's very easy recipes, delicious recipes, but they're equitable recipes, because nobody wants to buy a recipe. Number one, I don't want to buy a cookbook that I don't use often, right? Like I'm a chef, so I enjoy cooking, period. And if I find a cookbook that I like to be able to, number one, be able to memorize the ingredients, right? I like to be like, okay, I need butter, salt, sugar, flour, and I can keep going. What I don't want is to be like, okay, I need what? I can't pronounce that. So I wanted to make sure that this cookbook, it has ingredients that we all can pronounce. And it has ingredients that we can all purchase and we can all feel wonderful about. And again, like I said, the reason I did the competition was because I am a person who believes in food equity. For those who are not aware what food equity just means that everybody deserves to be able to learn how to cook, to have the available resources to be able to cook and to grow their own food. So whether that's growing a garden in your backyard or whether that's a local garden in your community, we should all be able to do that. As we all know, the United States throws away about 8 million pounds of food a month, which is a lot. And we have to change some laws so that that food can go somewhere else. That's what food equity is about. Food equity is also about making sure that this cookbook is affordable for everybody so that everybody can be able to use it, right? Food equity is also being able to say, I'm going to allow people to share this recipe book so they then can teach other people how to cook. Yeah, food equity is a huge web that any real chef, any real cook is going to talk to you about, because that's really what life is about. It's about food equity. It's about being sustainable in every single way. It's about making sure that nothing we use goes to waste. And that was what I wanted to do with this cookbook. Is I wanted to make sure everything that I put in this cookbook, it doesn't go to waste. And I know that you guys will enjoy it. And I know, I'm the one who wrote it. So you can be like, girl, you wrote this, but give it a try. I always tell people, try it out. Cook, because this also has meal plans in it too. It's not just like a regular cookbook where you gotta be like, what am I gonna cook today? It actually has itemized meal plans. So you can actually bust out a meal in like 45 minutes. A lot of these meals are under 45 minutes. Because again, we live in a busy world. We appreciate the cooking, but we don't want to be in the kitchen all day. So these recipes, I think the longest is going to be like the ham. And that is like, I want to say like maybe 45 minutes, maybe 48 minutes. But the whole point of cooking for me is to have fun and to learn a skill and to grow your confidence and to make yourself feel better, right? And it's also a great stress reliever. And I know a lot of us are having to go through some growing pains of consequences, repercussions, actions, all those good things. And a really great stress reliever is always cooking and always challenging yourself. I mean, that was really how my grandmother became a chef, was because she wanted to challenge herself, right? And that kind of passed on from generation to generation. We all are women who enjoy challenging ourselves in the kitchen. And I always like to encourage people, like, challenge yourself in the kitchen. Challenge yourself, in life, because any good life worth living, you're going to have some challenges, right? And victory is always sweet when there's a little challenge, right? If it's easy, like, oh gosh, it was easy, here's your gold star, because it was easy. You don't want that. You want to be able to be like, I had to learn how to saute, then I had to learn how to mince, and then I had to learn how to, I had to learn the difference between whipped cream and heavy cream. I had to learn the difference between unsalted butter and sweet butter. I had to learn the difference. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what life experience does. That's why cooking is a journey. I know a lot of us, we focus on the end result. Is it gonna be good? Is it not gonna be burnt? And sometimes that's the journey as well. I mean, I have burnt a number of recipes. I've burnt so many recipes that it became funny in our house. Like, at one point, it was like a year where the universe just like cursed me and I could not cook rice. And I'm not joking. I couldn't cook rice. and it would get sticky or it'd stick to the bottom, or I don't know. And we eventually, because I would be so upset about it, and eventually I just started laughing because I was like, you know what, it's rice. It's rice. And so that became the joke, was like, okay, if we can't make the rice, we're just going to get boiling a bag rice. And I'm saying that because that's how you have to be as a chef. Sometimes you have to pivot. So maybe my glazed ham recipe, it's not the one that you can cook today, but maybe the mini seafood crab boil, because it's easy and it's compact, right? Those are just little foil packages that have shrimp inside. It has a corn on the cob. It has diced potatoes, and you just drizzle it with Old Bay seasoning and a little olive oil, and you just pop it in the oven. And that's you know what I mean? Just that's why it's so important to challenge yourself, right? So you can negotiate and you know what works for you and what doesn't. And eventually, who's to say you may go, you know what? I'm gonna try to make Chrissy's ham. I've mastered the bacon wrapped green beans. I've mastered her mother's punch bowl cake. I've mastered the buttercream pie. All of these recipes are in this book, by the way, so we're clear. But you may be one of those people where you're like, I've mastered all of these, and now I want to master the final, the pièce de résistance, which is the ham. But the whole point is do it and don't hold yourself back, because cooking should be filled, abandon, passion, love. Like that's how it should be. And that's why I made this cookbook, right? I made it where it is also waterproof. This is waterproof. It's liquid proof because I enjoy a messy cook. It means that you're cooking, right? Like if you can cook and you don't have any flour, sugar, butter on the counter or yourself, I am worried for you and for everybody else, because I don't know if you blended any of that well, and I don't want food poisoning. Yeah, you already know. But no, this book, I think you guys would really enjoy it. And if not, if you're not too sure, just keep coming back to my lives, because I am always cooking something either from this cookbook or other cookbooks. And just so we're clear, 2023, I wrote this cookbook. In 2024, I wrote 5 other cookbooks. Ha! That's right. So I'm going to try to add those other 5 cookbooks. I will add them to my TikTok as well. I also did say that I am a retired adult film star, and I did retire, make this blog, and then go to this food competition and come in 5th place. And everybody wants to know, how did I change my life? How did I turn it all the way around? I also wrote a book on that. So I will be adding that as well. But for now, this is the one that we are talking about. This is the one that I really want you guys to enjoy, because it is truly a labor of love. It is truly something that came from my heart. It is not a Ponzi scheme. It is not me trying to sell you anything except some good old Southern food. And this is Southern cuisine. This is Louisiana style cooking. This is Arkansas barbecue. This is Memphis ribs. This is Texas tea. The sangria is my mama's recipe. She doesn't drink, but we put her in charge of the drinks because she doesn't drink and she has a heavy hand, and it always comes out perfect. So if it ain't broke, you don't fix that, right? So this is why I'm so passionate about this, is because I think almost every other page, it has a recipe like from my grandmother or my father or my sister or my brother or my cousin, or a friend of mine who passed away, Sharon, her bacon wrapped green beans. That's where I got it from. Me and Sharon became really great friends when I worked at the sheriff's office, and my husband left me. Yeah, he left me. With a 5-year-old and a 9-month-old baby, he left me. And I was so distraught because we had just bought all this furniture, and it was like $2,000 worth of furniture, and I was paying it off. And then he leaves, and we had a dog, we had small kids. It was a lot. And I remember just thinking to myself, I was like, Miss Sharon, what am I going to do? He left. I got these kids. I got this furniture. And, and then I got to like sober up and then like do my like little, dispatch job. And I remember her patting me on my shoulder, and she's like, girl, you're going to be okay. She's like, I'm just going to teach you some of my recipes, and we're just going to move on. And she did. And one of her recipes was the pina colada cake. and that is in here. I do put the pina colada cake in here. It's a fun cake for the summertime. I love to bring it out for the summer. And it's great if you have an alcoholic beverage or if you don't, right? It's just a really fun cake to make. And then she taught me how to make her bacon wrapped green beans. And the bacon wrapped green beans have been a hit. And I'm 43. This was this was at least 18 years ago. Yeah. And people to this day will be like, are you bringing the bacon wrapped green beans? Are you going to cook are you bringing them or not? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm bringing them. And then same with the Cajun turkey recipe. The Cajun turkey recipe in here, once you cook it, nobody's going to not want it. They'll be like, hey, do you want to bring that? Like I had to tell my mom at one point, I was like, hey, this turkey has liquor in it. Don't serve it at the church. And then she laughed and she was like, oh, that's why it's so good. Yes, there's also a better than sex cake. Yes, I put that for Valentine's Day. I got that from my 90-year-old grandmother. You're welcome. There's so many wonderful recipes in here that I am so happy and thrilled to share with you guys. And again, it's a cooking journey. I don't expect you guys to get these recipes perfect. I don't expect you guys to have perfect plating. What I do expect is for you guys to have fun. Because cooking is fun. Cooking is definitely a vibe. Cooking can make you feel passionate. Cooking can make you feel happy. Cooking can relieve a lot of stress. And I think that's the number one thing that I think all of us are looking for is that stress relief. We're looking for something that can turn our mind off from the chaos in the world. We're looking for something that can calm us. And the number one thing, I'm going to be honest with you guys, because, hey, why not? It's TikTok. Everybody's being honest. I don't know what that's about. But no, honestly, the calmest thing for me is cooking. And I think it comes from when I was little. I had an eating disorder. And my mom would always sit me down while she was cooking and we would discuss. And then as I got older, when I had guy problems, I would always talk with my grandmother because we were really close and she would always be cooking. So she would be like, all right, shuck this corn and tell me about your problems. Or she'd be like, hold these black-eyed peas and tell me about your problems. And I would, and then I would say it. So I feel like maybe that's why cooking is such a stress relief for me. Even in some of my worst times, like when we went through the pandemic, like I had a blast because I was like, now I get to make bread. And I was making bread like every day. I was doing 1,000-piece word puzzles, but I just felt so relieved and stress-free. Like my whole neighborhood, they were so happy that they were like, oh my God, we are so happy you're making this bread because it was fresh. It was like fresh white bread out of the oven. But I feel like that's something that we all need. Cooking is something that we all need, right? We all need to learn the skill. We all need to learn how to do it. And even if we do know how to do it, and I know a lot of us are like, I know how to cook. Yeah, but why not try something new? The world is at this point, try something new. You know what I mean? What's it going to hurt to just be like, I'm going to try a new recipe. You know what? I'm just going to do something different. I'm going to try a different culture. I'm going to try a different cuisine. I just want to see what it's like. And you never know. I always tell people when you try different cuisine, you open your mind to different avenues. You get synapses sparking. And then the next thing you know, you're in Bollywood having a wonderful chicken masala. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of cooking. So no, cooking for me is like second nature. It's an art form and it's love. And I hope that with this book, that is what you guys feel is the love that I have for cooking. And I hope that it's contagious enough for you to want to feel that way as well. Because that's what it's all about, right? It's about food equity. It's about love. It's about cooking and having a good time. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. That was awful. All right. So this is available on sale, I think, for $15.99, available on TikTok. I am going to finish putting up my Christmas tree. I have 4 Christmas trees up, which is way too many, but it's Christmas. Who's going to say no? Nobody. And I also have, again, I'm working on another cookbook. Stay tuned for that. So what I'll do is I'm going to post the other products that I have, the other cookbooks and some self-help journals and stuff that I think you guys will like. But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into my live. I want to thank you so much for making me a League D5 top 99%. And please feel free to share my live, my profile, like, share, subscribe, add, like, all that stuff. I don't know. It's always so much. It's too much. It's too much. All right. So you guys have a wonderful day, okay? And I will be back on probably tomorrow to cook.